As the sealed Medusa's divine hall was violently kicked open by a graceful silhouette, a noticeable passage was forcefully created on the wall. At the same time, Shenling was knocked unconscious by Kylin's kick. Damn it! Shenling King raised his head, staring at the silhouette intently. The figure was entirely shrouded in the power of 10 colors, revealing no clues from the outside. Shenling King attempted to probe the figure, but to his shock, no matter how hard he tried, his power couldn't break through the barrier of the 10-colored force. A terrifying, isolating power emanated from it instantly. Is this woman the 7-colored sky-devouring python? He wondered, puzzled. But what's with the power of 10 colors? The attributes within it are countless. Shenming? Yimo's heart sank as he spotted the unconscious figure. Without hesitation, he flew towards Shenming. Shenling King, noticing this, immediately fled the Medusa Divine Hall to reach Shenming's side. Meanwhile, Cai Lin and the 10-colored heaven-swallowing python remained within the hall, quietly watching the retreating Shenling King and his companions. What now? The 10-colored heaven-swallowing python asked Cai Lin, uncertain. Being her companion spirit serpent, it still followed Cai Lin's lead. No, I must save him first. Cai Lin's voice was cold, a rare stubbornness in her tone. Are there others in the Medusa's divine hall? Suddenly, the 10-colored python seemed to sense something, noticing Tang Tang and her group inside. Without hesitation, it shot towards them at lightning speed. Enemy attack. Tang Tang was the first to react. However, even she found it difficult to deal with the overwhelming power of the python. How dare you trespass in Medusa's divine hall? The python bellowed. Since evolving into the 10-colored python, it had gained a deeper understanding of the grievances between the Medusa Clan and the Shenling royal family, and its fury was palpable. Damn it! Tang Tang's expression grew grim. She prepared to face the python, knowing full well she was no match for it. All she could do was buy time for her companions. Go now, Tang Tang ordered, her voice firm and decisive. No, Captain, we live and die with you. Scarred Man and the other subordinates, who had been with Tang Tang for years, showed no intention of leaving. Go. Tang Tang's voice grew sterner as she clenched a pill prepared by Xiao Yan in her hand. Hurry up and leave. I'll hold it off. Tang Tang knew that she was no match for the terrifying python. Even a casual attack from it would likely be fatal. Wait! Just as Tang Tang was about to swallow the pill and risk everything, the python's figure morphed into that of a woman. With a casual movement, she snatched the pill from Tang Tang's hand. This scent. It's his, the python-turned-woman murmured, recognizing the distinct fragrance lingering on the pill. The pill had been refined by Xiao Yan using more than 20 different heavenly flames, making it easily identifiable. Kylin's gaze had never left Tang Tang's group, and her instincts as a woman made her suspect that Tang Tang knew Xiao Yan. What's your relationship with Xiao Yan? Cai Lin moved swiftly, ignoring Shenling King and his group, and appeared before Tang Tang, her tone sharp. A Dou Xian. Tang Tang struggled to look up at the mysterious woman, sensing a chilling killing intent. We've met before, fought together as a team, Tang Tang replied, her voice steady despite the overwhelming pressure. And these pills? Xiao Yan is a generous man. He gave us these when he served as our team's alchemist. Hmph. Cai Lin's and Tang Tang's strange conversation echoed through the divine hall. You may leave. Cai Lin's attitude softened upon hearing Tang Tang's explanation. He still loves taking risks, doesn't he? Cai Lin muttered softly, her voice reverberating ominously through the hall. What exactly is the relationship between this mysterious woman and Xiao Yan? Tang Tang thought, realizing that the woman had spared them only because of their connection with him. Without that tie, their fate would have been sealed. Let's go. Tang Tang exchanged glances with her companions, and without another word, they quickly fled through the hall's breach, vanishing from sight. Damn it! What's going on here? This woman's strength. She's reached the Dou Xian level? Shenling King cursed as he fled Medusa's divine hall and checked on the unconscious Shenming. Fortunately, he was only temporarily incapacitated, not mortally wounded. Shenling King breathed a sigh of relief. Xianming was one of the top-ranking experts in the Dragon Devourer Legion, the third-ranked 9-star Dou Di. If anything had happened to him, Shenling King knew the consequences would be dire. After all, the Shenling royal family wasn't solely under his control. Shenling King, didn't you say you had everything under control in Medusa's Divine Hall? What's going on? Yi Mo barely contained his fury as he confronted Shenling King. Elder Yi, I did know some of the secrets of Medusa's Divine Hall, but I never expected a strong figure like this to appear. Shenling King's face was twisted with frustration. That mysterious woman has already reached the level of Dou Xian. Yi Mo calmed down, realizing that now wasn't the time for infighting. If that Medusa Clan's mysterious powerhouse intervened, neither he nor Shenling King would stand a chance against her. After all, she was a true Dou Xian, and the gap between Dou Xian and a half-step Dou Xian was vast. Moreover, they were merely 9-star Dou Dis. Master, if we don't kill Shenling King now, he'll cause trouble in the future. The tin-colored heaven-swallowing python said calmly, not surprised that Cai Lin had spared Tang Tang and her group. There's no time. I need to save him first. As for these people, I'll deal with them later. Kylin's expression grew serious, sensing the danger Xiao Yan was in. Without paying further attention to Shenling King and the others, she raised her hand, casually slicing through the void, revealing a spatial rift leading who knows where. Let's go. Kylin's cold voice echoed as she stepped through the rift. Though reluctant, the tin-colored python had no choice but to follow. They're going to rescue someone? Shenling King, watching the mysterious woman, suddenly realized what was happening. It's time we settle things with the Medusa Clan, he muttered, his eyes darkening. A Dou Xian expert has appeared in the Medusa Clan. The balance of the mystic three heavens is bound to change dramatically. Shenling King remarked as he quickly picked up Xianming and disappeared into the desolate Death Desert. The shocking explosion that erupted from the Medusa Divine Hall echoed throughout the entire desert. In a secluded corner of one of the 9 Medusa tribes, an elderly man leaning on a serpent-headed staff slowly squinted as he looked into the distance. Boom, boom, boom. The terrifying explosion resounded, and a flash of surprise crossed the old man's eyes. That's the direction of the Medusa Divine Hall. And this energy, did that little one actually succeed? For countless generations, our Medusa clan has been unable to unravel the secret of the Medusa Divine Hall. Yet today, an outsider has managed to do it. But perhaps it's for the best. It's time for the Medusa clan to put things in order. This elder was none other than Shifu. Transmit my order. Convene the highest level meeting of the Medusa clan. It is time for us to choose a new king. Shifu's eyes gleamed with a strange brilliance as he issued the command. The entire Medusa clan sprang into action at his order, for they all felt it. Something within the Medusa Divine Hall had emerged, a presence so powerful it stirred the very depths of their blood, making them instinctively submit. Meanwhile, in the shattered void of the desolate Death Desert where Xiao Yan was, he and the energy projection of the Blood Demon Envoy were locked in a fierce battle. If not for the sudden surge in Xiao Yan's power from devouring the sacred flame, and the assistance from Long E and Heart Rock, Xiao Yan would have had a much harder time dealing with the Blood Demon Envoy's energy projection. Though the Blood Demon Envoy's projection had descended upon the Dou Di continent, it only possessed the strength of a perfect 8-star Dou Di. Nonetheless, this alone presented many challenges for Xiao Yan. Damn it! Xiao Yan cursed, wiping the blood from the corner of his mouth. He quickly swallowed a handful of pills, breathing heavily. The Blood Demon Envoy's energy projection alone is terrifying enough. If the real Blood Demon Envoy were to descend, Xiao Yan muttered, feeling the gravity of the situation. You can't quite say that, Heart Rock interrupted. The Blood Demon Envoy's power is limited by the plane's suppression, which prevents him from unleashing his full strength. And even though I am the sacred flame, at my peak, I was only a peak Dou Di. At the start of this battle, I had the strength of a perfect 7-star Dou Di, but now, for some reason, my strength is on par with yours. I suspect this has something to do with your flame mantra. Your power is suppressing mine, Heart Rock explained to Xiao Yan. Weren't you a separate entity? Xiao Yan asked in surprise. I can be thought of as another form of the sacred flame. Since you've devoured the sacred flame, it has become a part of your Dou Qi. While I don't know why you have 23 types of flame Dou Qi within you, my sacred flame power has merged with your Dou Qi, Heartrock explained. What you're saying is that if my strength increases, so will yours? Xiao Yan asked, raising an eyebrow. Yes, that's the terrifying aspect of us sacred flames. Like your flame mantra, we possess infinite potential, Heartrock replied confidently. Let's hold off on that for now. The Blood Demon Envoy seems to be preparing for a final attack. Just as Xiao Yan and Heartrock were about to continue their conversation, the battered Long Yi spoke weakly. Though Long Yi had recovered to the half-step Dou Xian level, he was of little use against the Blood Demon Envoy's energy projection. His attacks were completely ignored by the projection, which was composed of both energy and soul power. The difference in their attributes meant that Long Yi couldn't harm the projection, while the Blood Demon Envoy's evil attacks were constantly aimed at him, leaving him infuriated. Human, I must admit, it's impressive that you can withstand my attacks with your late 6-star Dou D strength. It speaks to your monstrous talent, the Blood Demon Envoy remarked. But the Blood Demon Clan has survived for so long not just by feeding on fresh blood. If you cannot be used by me, then you will fall. Blood Demon Golden Qi. Rise. The Blood Demon Envoy's energy projection let out an eerie laugh, his hands moving in rapid, complex gestures. His laughter was as chilling as a ghost's wail. As the sinister laughter and hand signs continued, Xiao Yan could feel the Blood Demon Golden Qi in his chest start to tremble violently. The evil energy surged within him, attacking his soul Si, Dou Qi Si, and even his brain, attempting to take over his body and transform him into a member of the extraterritorial evil clan. Ah! Xiao Yan clutched his head with both hands, a wave of helplessness spreading through his entire body. Damn it! Xiao Yan gritted his teeth so hard that blood seeped from his mouth. But at this moment, he couldn't afford to care. The Blood Demon Golden Qi was too terrifying. Even with Heartrock's sacred flame power suppressing it, it couldn't be fully contained. Under the control of the Blood Demon Envoy's energy projection, it was bursting out. Ah! Xiao Yan's anguished screams echoed through the shattered void. With the dirty tricks of the Blood Demon Envoy, the immortal body protecting Xiao Yan vanished instantly. A battle between the Sacred Flame's earthy yellow power and the Blood Demon's purple golden qi erupted within Xiao Yan's body. Damn it! Xiao Yan focused all his efforts on defending his soul Si, Dou Qi Si, and Spirit Si, allowing the Blood Demon Golden Qi to rampage through the rest of his body. Although Xiao Yan had both heavenly flames and the sacred flame's power within him, there was no way to completely eradicate the evil Blood Demon Golden Qi. However, he could at least prevent it from consuming and assimilating him. Get back! With a cold snort, Xiao Yan's will surged. The domineering Blood Demon Golden Qi was forcefully pushed back to his chest. Seal! Xiao Yan quickly used the combined power of the sacred flame and the heavenly flames to set up 10 layers of seals around the Blood Demon Golden Qi. Only then did he begin to gasp for breath. That Blood Demon Golden Qi is truly vile. Xiao Yan muttered to himself. Having experienced its terrifying power firsthand, he realized that without the sacred flame and heavenly flames within him, the Blood Demon Golden Qi would have easily taken over his body and devoured his soul. Blood Demon burst. The Blood Demon Envoy's energy projection, seeing that Xiao Yan hadn't been assimilated, seemed puzzled but remained calm. Black energy surged around him as he coldly snorted, summoning a black orb of immense power. The black orb radiated a vast, malevolent energy, and even a perfect 8-star Dou D would struggle to survive its impact. This is, Xiao Yan, already weakened from suppressing the Blood Demon Golden Qi, felt a wave of dread as he sensed the deathly aura from the black orb. Damn it! Xiao Yan cursed, helplessly watching as the Blood Demon Envoy's energy projection merged with the black orb. The entire void trembled with an ear-splitting sound. Die! As soon as those words left the Blood Demon Envoy's mouth, the ominous black orb filled with extreme malevolence shot toward Xiao Yan, arriving before him in the blink of an eye. Xiao Yan shook his head helplessly, preparing to ignite all the heavenly flames and flame mantra within him in a desperate attempt to create an opportunity for escape. However, the cost of such a move was immense, and he wouldn't resort to it unless it was absolutely necessary. His life is mine. Just as Xiao Yan was about to trigger the flames within him, a familiar voice echoed through the shattered space. He looked up to see a graceful silhouette wrapped in the power of 10 colors. "Cai Lin," Xiao Yan muttered, his eyes dazed as he gazed at the cold, queenly figure standing before him. "We'll deal with this first," Kylin responded, her eyes filled with fury. Without giving Xiao Yan a chance to speak, she stepped out of the rift in the void. In the next moment, Kylin reverted to her original form. The massive body of the 10-colored heaven-swallowing python filled the entire void. Her enormous tail, imbued with the power of 10 colors, lashed out viciously at the black orb. Boom, boom, boom. The terrifying collision took place, but instead of a flurry of battle sparks, the seemingly invincible black orb was split in half by Cai Lin's enormous tail and instantly vanished. The 10-colored heaven-swallowing python? Just as the black orb disappeared, the blood demon envoy's energy projection reappeared amidst the dissipating black mist. Humph! After neutralizing the black orb, Cai Lin instantly reverted to her human form. Her slender, elegant figure twisted gracefully, and in a flash, she appeared beside the blood demon envoy's energy projection. Seal! With a light point of her jade-like hand, the blood demon envoy's projection, who had been radiating shock and disbelief, was instantly trapped by the power of the 10 colors, unable to move a muscle. "What do we do with him?" she asked coldly, glancing at Xiao Yan. "Kill him," Xiao Yan replied calmly. In the next moment, the overwhelming power of the 10 colors compressed violently, crushing the blood demon envoy's energy projection into oblivion. The blood demon envoy's projection was utterly destroyed. Far away, in the extraterritorial realm of the Great Thousand Worlds, a new possessor of the 10-colored heaven-swallowing python's bloodline has appeared in the Great Thousand Worlds. This matter is far too important. I must inform the other envoys immediately. After muttering these words, the blood demon envoy swiftly vanished, heading to an unknown location. "Are you all right?" Xiao Yan asked, gazing at the powerful figure standing before him. A mix of emotions welled up inside him. "What do you think?" Cai Lin replied, her queenly demeanor softening as she looked at the weary Xiao Yan, though a trace of frustration lingered in her eyes. "I had my reasons." Xiao Yan's heart raced under her sharp gaze, and he quickly tried to explain. "I don't care what your reasons are. Just remember, your life belongs to me." Cai Lin's voice was calm, but there was no disguising the deep affection and longing in her tone. "Haha, Xiao Yan," a nearby voice chimed in. "Don't be fooled by her queenly airs. She's missed you terribly." When she was merging with the 10-colored heaven-swallowing python's bloodline in the Medusa Divine Hall, she wouldn't have emerged so early if she hadn't been thinking of you the whole time. Absorbing the 10-colored python's bloodline was incredibly painful, but every day, she thought of you. The 10-colored heaven-swallowing python, now known as Little 10, laughed as it spoke. "Little 10, you talk too much." Cai Lin shot Little 10 a cold glare, silencing the snake. "You're the spirit of the 7-colored heaven-swallowing python from before?" Xiao Yan asked with amusement, recognizing the playful tone. "Yes, I was the 7-colored python that followed the queen." "At least you still remember me," Little 10 replied, feigning anger. "Haha, I knew your aura felt familiar," Xiao Yan chuckled, his memory hazy but recognizing that if it hadn't been for the 7-colored python's spirit back then, things would be very different now. With that, Heart Rock returned to Xiao Yan's body, and Long Yi retreated into the ancient ruler of heavenly flames for recuperation, leaving only Xiao Yan, Cai Lin, and Little 10 in the shattered void. "The space here is collapsing. I know you have many questions, but let's leave first," Kylin said, breaking the silence. "All right," Xiao Yan agreed with a nod. The three of them exited the fractured void and arrived beside the Medusa Divine Hall. "Ask away," Kylin said, her regal, cold demeanor now gone. She looked more like a gentle and caring companion. After coming out of that spatial passage, we got separated, but I never stopped searching for you and the others, Xiao Yan said with a faint smile, feeling a complex mix of emotions when facing Cai Lin. What was that creature in the spatial passage? Kylin asked, more concerned about the facts than anything else. As long as Xiao Yan was safe, the rest didn't matter to her. That was a friend of the Tuasha ancient emperor, but they were severely corrupted by the extraterritorial evil clan, Xiao Yan answered honestly. As long as you're all right, Kylin replied, brushing off the rest of the details. After I came out of that passage, I was separated from Sun Air and the others and ended up here in the mystic three heavens. I was unfamiliar with the area, but luckily, I encountered some of the Medusa Clan's experts. They brought me to the Medusa Divine Hall, where I coincidentally merged with the blood of the tin-colored heaven-swallowing python. Cai Lin raised her hand, and the power of 10 colors briefly flickered before fading away. You've worked hard, Xiao Yan said, no longer hesitating as he pulled Cai Lin into a tight embrace, feeling their hearts draw closer. Ahem, Little Tin coughed awkwardly, sensing the tension between the two, aware that even though she was a female herself, this was an intimate moment for them. All right, let's deal with the evil energy inside you first, Cai Lin said, her cheeks tinged with a faint blush. Even she, who had always remained calm and collected, couldn't keep her heart steady around Xiao Yan. Your strength, Xiao Yan was curious. Although Cai Lin had already been incredibly strong on the Dou Qi continent as the seven-colored python, her rapid increase in power seemed unusual. My strength has reached the early one-star Dou Xian level, all thanks to the 10-colored python predecessor. I also promised her a few things, Cai Lin said, her red lips moving slightly as she explained, fully aware of what Xiao Yan was thinking. Don't worry. No matter when, you'll always have me, Xiao Yan reassured her. He knew that the 10-colored heaven-swallowing python bloodline granted Cai Lin certain advantages that no human could ever match, so her sudden surge in strength didn't surprise him too much. After I help you suppress the evil energy, I'll assist the Medusa Clan in defeating the Shenling royal family. After that, I will follow you. No matter where you go, Cai Lin's calm voice drifted over the desert, finally becoming a Dou Di, and yet it feels like I'm back on the Dou Qi continent, constantly being chased by Medusa women, Xiao Yan said with a bitter smile, though a fierce determination burned in his eyes. With those words, Cai Lin helped Xiao Yan suppress the blood demon Golden Qi. However, Cai Lin soon realized that even with her Dou Xian strength, she couldn't completely expel the sinister energy. She could only temporarily hold it at bay. Based on her estimation, it would take at least a 2-star Dou Xian to entirely remove it. You should leave, she said. The feud between the Medusa Clan and humans is too dangerous here. As soon as she finished, Cai Lin sensed several powerful presences approaching them. Xiao Yan, remember this. Your life belongs to me. Her cold voice echoed across the desert. This is the true Medusa Queen, Xiao Yan thought with a wry smile, wasting no time as he swiftly left the desolate death desert. He hasn't changed at all, Cai Lin murmured as she watched his figure disappear into the distance. A wave of memories surged back, recalling the young man who used to be relentlessly hunted by her across the Dou Qi continent. Elder Serpent, why are we rushing to the Medusa Divine Hall? Has something happened? A serpent man asked Serpent King as they moved through the desert. This serpent man was Li Bu, the leader of one of the 9 great Medusa tribes, possessing the strength of a late 8-star Dou Di. You shouldn't ask questions you don't need to know the answers to, Serpent King responded coldly. Hearing this, Li Bu immediately fell silent. He understood that the presence of all the leaders from the 9 Medusa tribes meant something of great significance was happening. Looks like things are about to change for the Medusa Clan, Serpent King muttered with a faint smile, watching as a brilliant beam of 10-colored light appeared in the distance. Though Serpent King and Shifu had no desire to rule over the 9 Medusa tribes, they both knew that for the Medusa Clan to escape the desolate death desert, they would need to crown a true king. We're almost there, Shifu, who was leading the group, said quietly. The team included all the leaders and important figures from the 9 Medusa tribes. Have they arrived? Cai Lin muttered, playing with the fine sand beneath her fingers. Her enchanting, curvaceous figure exuded an aura of terrifying power as she gazed at the approaching group. Only after the matters of the Medusa clan were settled could she return to Xiao Yan's side. What's that? As Shifu and the others arrived, two stunning women appeared in the desert before them. How dare you trespass into the Medusa Divine Hall? Li Bu roared in anger as he glanced at the two women and then at the gaping hole in the Medusa Divine Hall. Leave him be! Serpent King reached out to stop Li Bu, but Shifu signaled with a glance for him to let Li Bu go. Let him try. After all, some of the leaders of the 9 tribes are quite dissatisfied, Shifu said loudly, making sure the other leaders heard as well. Humph! What are you two scheming, Shifu and Serpent King? A middle-aged man snorted coldly, glaring at Shifu. Uncle Mu, don't be angry. If Shifu is acting this way, there's surely a reason. Let's just wait and see. A voice like silver bells suddenly rang out. In the next moment, a burst of 3-colored light appeared, revealing a woman bathed in that radiant glow. If Xiao Yan were present, he would immediately recognize her as the 3-colored heaven-swallowing python they encountered when they first arrived at the desert oasis. So even you've come, the man referred to as Uncle Mu softened his anger upon seeing the 3-colored python woman, and he had no choice but to calm down. After all, the 3-colored heaven-swallowing python was one of the few hopes of the Medusa clan. Although she was currently only a 6-star Dou Di, any leader of the 9 tribes would still treat her with the utmost respect. Such was the power of the Medusa clan's bloodline. How strange. Why do these two women make me feel a fear deep within my soul? The 3-colored python woman, whose name was Qin Air, stood in the sky, her beautiful eyes sweeping over the two women in the desert below. Your Majesty, those people, Little Tin spoke as she noticed a fierce-looking man approaching them from the sky. These are the Medusa clan of the Shenling continent. Since I promised the predecessor, I cannot break my word, Cai Lin said casually, her eyes fixed on the elderly Shifu in the sky. Where is the blue flower serpent? Cai Lin's gaze swept across the group, noting the strength of the dozen or so figures present, but the absence of the blue flower serpent surprised her. It was the blue flower serpent who had defied opposition to allow Cai Lin entry into the Medusa Divine Hall, giving her the chance to merge with the 10-colored python's blood. Without her, Cai Lin wouldn't have had this opportunity. I don't know where you came from, but trespassing into the Medusa Divine Hall means only one thing, death. Li Bu shouted, his powerful Dou Qi gathering as he prepared to strike at the two women. What a nuisance, Cai Lin muttered, clearly irritated. Before the man could act, she let out a soft snort, and a column of 10-colored light shot skyward. Boom, boom, boom. The enormous pillar of 10-colored light shot into the sky, shaking the very space around them, as if the desert itself might collapse at any moment. This is, as the pillar of 10-colored light soared into the heavens, Qin Air's expression turned from disbelief to grave seriousness. Qin Air, the 3-colored heaven-swallowing python, was a powerful 6-star Dou Di. Elder Shifu, is this real? Qin Air asked in disbelief, turning to look at the elder who stood with his eyes closed. The massive pillar of light emanated a tremendous bloodline pressure. Qin Air was all too familiar with this aura, the heaven-swallowing python. It seems she has succeeded. Back when little Qing brought her into the Medusa Divine Hall, many of you objected. But now, it's clear that little Qing's foresight was far beyond that of you old folks, Shifu said, his deep, wise eyes gazing at Cai Lin in the desert. Is she really the legendary heaven-swallowing python? The leaders of the tribes felt an overwhelming sense of reverence from the bloodline pressure, their hearts filled with awe. Guardian of the Medusa Divine Hall, Shifu, greets Her Majesty, the Queen. While the tribe leaders struggled to resist the powerful pressure, Shifu vanished from the sky and appeared in the desert, bowing deeply before Cai Lin. Elder Shifu, what are you doing? Some of the more hot-headed tribe leaders couldn't contain their confusion, and anger flared in their hearts. Please rise, Elder Shifu. I'm unworthy of this, Cai Lin said, helping Shifu to his feet, though the elder remained on his knees, unmoving. I object. How can an outsider be crowned the king of the Medusa Clan? A voice of dissent rang out across the desert. Just as the man spoke, Elder Shifu's eyes flickered slightly, and a faint message was sent into Cai Lin's mind. Not convinced, huh? Cai Lin murmured, turning her graceful figure toward him. In her hand, a dazzling force of tin-colored power appeared. Convinced or not? Cai Lin, receiving Shifu's signal, didn't bother to waste words with the men present. Not convinced. How dare an outsider dream of ruling the Medusa Clan? Utter nonsense. Li Bu, the man who spoke, let out a burst of energy, revealing his strength as a late 8-star Dou Di. In that case, let me set an example. A cold and domineering voice escaped from Cai Lin's lips as her pupils shifted to a colorless hue. The terrifying aura of a Dou Xian expert and the power of the tin-colored heaven swallowing python surged forth. Playing tricks on me? At this point, Li Bu had no choice but to brace himself for the confrontation. Go! With a wave of her jade-like hand, Cai Lin sent the tin-colored power roaring toward him. Let's see through your tricks. Li Bu shouted, preparing to take on Cai Lin's attack. However, the moment the tin-colored power struck, it sent him flying back several hundred meters. Blood oozed from the corner of his mouth, and wounds began to appear on his body. You truly are ruthless. One of the other tribe leaders spoke up, unable to watch any longer. Don't worry, he's not dead. Just unconscious, Cai Lin responded nonchalantly, her aura suddenly flaring up once again. So this really is the legendary power of the tin-colored heaven-swallowing python. Faced with Cai Lin's overwhelming display of strength and the bloodline power within her, the last glimmer of hope in the hearts of the tribe leaders shattered. They knew, regardless of her origin, that since she had obtained the legacy of the tin-colored python, she was destined to become the ruler of the Medusa Clan. Let's go, Your Majesty. We'll discuss further in the palace, Shifu suggested after Cai Lin had subdued the group. All right, Cai Lin replied, withdrawing her power and returning to her usual calm demeanor, as if she were an ordinary woman. It seems the Shenling royal family's days are numbered, Serpent King commented as he followed, casting a glance toward the distant royal family. Meanwhile, within the Incense Pavilion, 5 years had passed since Xiao Yan's group was inducted, along with fresh blood. The Incense Pavilion had a tradition of recruiting new disciples only once every 7 years, and every 5 years, a competition was held among the heaven, earth, and human halls. The purpose of this competition was twofold: to assess the talent within the 3 halls and to prepare for the upcoming Super Sect trials in 2 years. To participate in these trials, the disciples had to prove their worth by excelling in this internal competition, ensuring that the sect had the best candidates. The competition was divided into individual and team events. The individual event was a stage where disciples could freely display their strength and defeat their opponents, as strong individuals were always highly sought after, even outside the Incense Pavilion. The team event, on the other hand, tested not only individual strength but also the ability to cooperate with others. No single person could dominate in the team event. Only through coordination and teamwork could victory be achieved. The team event was often more highly anticipated than the individual one. Haha, has Xiao Yan not returned yet? In the human hall, Mu Shuzi sat cross-legged on a mat, addressing a man dressed in black. After entering the desert mountain range, only Lu Di, Mu Yingying, Mu Feng, and Little E have returned. Xiao Yan has yet to show up. The 4 of them came back much stronger, so they likely encountered some fortuitous opportunities in the mountains, the black-clad man reported respectfully. However, just as Mu Shuzi was about to speak, the man hesitated. What is it? Speak, Mu Shuzi asked, sensing something amiss. The extraterritorial evil clan's presence in the desert mountain range has completely disappeared, along with the entire range sinking into the desert. It's unclear if Xiao Yan had anything to do with this, the man explained. There were indeed evil clan forces in the desert mountain range, but with Master Kuang Mu nearby and the proximity to the Medusa Clan's territory, even our super sects dared not act rashly. Still, given what you've said, I suspect Xiao Yan played a role. He's not one to follow conventional rules, Mu Shuzi smiled. After all, The boy had killed the twin ghost emperors and taken first place in the points competition, an achievement not to be taken lightly. Master Mu, I've come to see you again. As Mu Shuzi and the black-clad man conversed, a graceful silhouette suddenly entered the human hall. It was a charming young girl with jet-black hair and clothes made of soft, snow-like fabric, giving her the appearance of a porcelain doll. Haha, you're here to see Xiao Yan again? Mu Shuzi greeted her with a smile. You may go. Keep a close watch, and notify me the moment there's any news about Xiao Yan. Mu Shuzi whispered to the black-clad man, who nodded and disappeared. Huh. Master Mu, were you just speaking with someone? The girl asked, tilting her head curiously and looking around. Other than me, there's no one else here, Mu Shuzi replied kindly. The girl's name was Ling Xuan, a mid-6-star Dou D expert. While her strength at this level was not to be underestimated, her true identity was even more remarkable. She was the youngest daughter of the Earth Hall's master. The Earth Hall master had 2 daughters. The eldest was already a powerful figure, traveling the world to exorcise demons. Ling Xuan, the younger, had remained by her father's side and was highly favored by him. Consequently, she was well protected and cared for by her fellow disciples in the Incense Pavilion. Did I hear wrong? Ling Xuan pouted slightly. Has Xiao Yan not returned yet? She asked, noticing there was no one else in the hall. Hee, I'm not sure. Xiao Yan was specifically called out by Elder Zhu for this mission, Mu Shuzi replied, deflecting her probing questions onto Elder Zhu. Master Zhu is so biased. We have so many excellent disciples in the Incense Pavilion, yet he chooses to mentor Xiao Yan specifically. I don't even understand what's so special about him, she grumbled, her lips pouting. All right, little ancestor, while you may be mid-6-star in strength now, I have a feeling that when Xiao Yan returns, his strength won't be much weaker than yours, Mu Shuzi chuckled. Master Mu, you're biased. Did you secretly give Xiao Yan some spirit pills? He was only a perfect 4-star Dou D when he first joined the Incense Pavilion. Even if he's strong, he can't have grown that much, Ling Xuan said, still puzzled. I want to see for myself what made him strong enough to kill the twin ghost emperors, she added, her curiosity piqued. Let's hope so, Mu Shuzi muttered softly, rising to his feet and heading toward the entrance of the hall. Master Mu, where are you going? Ling Xuan immediately asked when she saw him leaving. I'm going to check how many people we still have in the human hall. After all, since Mu Yingying and the others withdrew from the individual competition, if they don't participate in the team event, our human hall might end up last again this time. With those words, Mu Shuzi disappeared without a trace. Humph. Xiao Yan, even though there are rumors outside that you killed the twin ghost emperors, since joining our Incense Pavilion, you haven't spent much time training here. Even though Master Zhu sent you out on a mission, how can 5 years of training elsewhere possibly compare to the cultivation resources of the Incense Pavilion? I hope I get to spar with you and see for myself if you're really as strong as they say. Don't let me down. Ling Xuan's eyes sparkled with a hint of anticipation as she slowly made her way toward the door. And it's strange. The other 4 from the Incense Pavilion aren't weak, yet they've all withdrawn from the individual competition. Could they be waiting for Xiao Yan to return for the team event? Still, aside from the 2 my father mentioned, Little E and Mu Yingying, the other 2 don't seem particularly impressive. Ling Xuan shook her head before quickly leaving the hall, restoring peace to the human hall once again. Achoo! Who's thinking about me? Xiao Yan muttered as he walked along a desolate path. This was the mountain road leading to the Incense Pavilion, but due to the restrictions placed by the pavilion's powerful experts, he could only proceed on foot. Since Cai Lin is safe and has already reached the Dou Xian level, it makes sense that she'd stay behind after receiving such a great gift from the Medusa Clan's experts. It's a good thing she remained there. As for me, I need to get stronger and fast. Xiao Yan spoke to himself as he continued walking. After some time, Xiao Yan finally reached the mountainside and quickly formed a hand seal, causing a portal of light to appear before him. This light portal led directly to the domain of scorched heavens, under whose protection lay the Incense Pavilion itself. Incense Pavilion. Xiao Yan has returned. Xiao Yan smiled faintly and, without further hesitation, stepped through the portal.